Last class we can discuss about nervous tissue. We can go for some of the brief regarding to the types of neurons. What is the use of the neurons? See, now neuron having three parts. What are said? This one is the dendrites, and this one is the cell body, and this one is the axon. Now here, see, this one is the nucleus, nasal bodies, I already said, neurofibrils. This one is the dendrites. Now, dendrites arises from the cell body, that is the cyton, and it is a branched one. It can send the information to the cell body. It means it can send the information, impulse, towards to the cell body. That process is called as a afferent process. Afferent indicates towards. That's why dendrites can send the signals to the cell body. That's why dendrites shows what type of process? Afferent process. If you observe the axon, this one is an axon. Here the impulse is moving away from the cell body. That's why axon, it can shows what type of process? Afferent process. Affa indicates away. Alpha indicates the towards. That's why dendrites, they can shows what type of process? Afferent process. Axon, they can shows the afferent process. Here I already said, now supporting cells, that is the Schwann cells. These Schwann cells, they can form a myelinated sheath. See, if myelinated sheath is present, that neuron is called as what? Myelinated neuron. If myelinated sheath is not there, that is called as a non-myelinated neuron. Myelinated neurons, I can write here, myelinated neurons mostly present in the central nervous system. Here, the central nervous system having a brain and spinal cord. They having a myelinated neuron. And then non-myelinated neurons mostly, I am not assuming mostly, present in the peripheral nervous system. See, other than brain and spinal cord, remaining can named as a peripheral nervous system only. Here, see, they can ask one question. Here, non-myelinated neuron having a Schwann cells. Yes, non-myelinated nerves also having a Schwann cells, but it is not able to produce the myelinated sheath. And then, if you observe, when you are studying at the 10th class, now this one is the brain. Here, the outer having a gray matter, inner they having a white matter. You remember this one? In forebrain, the outside they having a gray matter and inside they having a white matter. Why they having a gray matter and white matter means? Suppose now can I name it? This is the cell body, and the cell body, this one is the dendrites, and this one is the axon, and this is the axon terminals, and this one is the synaptical nodes. Now see, like this I will draw. Now total this is a brain. This is the cell body. Why the outside they having a gray matter in the brain means because of accumulation of the cell bodies in the outer region. Here why it is a gray matter means they having a dark color granules that is called as a nasal granules. By the presence of the nasal granules in outside of the brain they having a gray matter. And if you go inside it is a white matter. Why they having a white matter? Because on axolemma they having a squam cells. This squam cells here one thing. They having a differentiation regarding the squam cells and also having a oligodendrocytes. These both are the neuroglial cells. See here oligodendrocytes. Oligodendrocytes they can form myelinated sheath in the central nervous system. Squam cells they can form a myelinated sheath and neurolemma in peripheral nervous system. Keep in mind. See squam cells is there, oligodendrocytes is there. What is the use of the oligodendrocytes? Means oligodendrocytes they can form a myelinated sheath in the central nervous system. Squam cells they can form a myelinated sheath and also neurolemma. Neuron covered by a membrane that is called as a neurolemma. That too in the cell body region from the by the squam cells. That is the differentiation. Keep in mind. That's why here they can form a myelinated sheath. See here. The myelinated sheath mostly consists of lipids. Myelinated sheath mostly consists of lipids. Lipids indicates what? Simple fatty acids. It is approximately white in color. That's why inside they having a more myelinated sheath is present in brain. Inside more myelinated sheath is present. What will happen? Myelinated sheath is in which color? White color. Due to the presence of this in inside of the brain, it is the white appearance that it will be indicates the white matter. I already said between the myelinated sheath this gap is called as what? Nodes of Ranvier. That is the lack of the myelinated sheath. Now here, see. The types of neurons. Types of neurons based upon dendrites and based upon the axon. They having three types of neurons. Unipolar neuron, bipolar neuron and a multipolar neuron. So many times in MCET level they can ask this type of questions regarding to the unipolar, bipolar and multipolar neurons. Mostly in our body, what type of neurons is present means multipolar neurons. I said the types of neuron is based upon the dendrites and based upon the axons. Mainly based upon the dendrites. See, unipolar neurons. Unipolar neurons means this one is the cell body. From the cell body, a single arising process. From that, two branches are formed. In that, one is act as a axon, another one is act as a dendrite. Strictly we can say about they having axon, but there is no proper dendrite. That is for the unipolar neuron. That's why unipolar neuron having a cell body. From the cell body, a single process is arises. From that, two branches is formed. One branch is acting as a axon and one branch is acting as a dendrites. Where this unipolar neurons is seen? In embryonical stage. In fetus embryonical stage, we can see the unipolar neurons. And then bipolar neurons. Bipolar neurons means cell body. From the cell body, they having a one axon and one dendrite. That type of neuron is called as a bipolar neuron. Bipolar neuron can be seen in the retina of eye. And then olfactory epithelium. In this region, they are having a olfactory epithelium. They are having what type of neurons is present? Bipolar neurons is present. And then multipolar neurons. Multipolar neuron having a one axon and so many dendrites is present. It means 2 or more number of dendrites is present. That type of neurons is called as a multipolar neurons. That's why type of neurons is based upon the dendrites. Here all they having a axon. Here there is no proper dendrites. Bipolar neuron having a one axon and one dendrite, and a multipolar neuron having a one axon, 2 or more dendrites is present. That is called as a differentiation between the unipolar, bipolar and multipolar. Unipolar neuron can be seen in the embryonic stage. Bipolar neurons can be seen in the retina of the eye and olfactory epithelium. Remaining total our body consists of a multipolar neurons. In this, see, regarding to the cell body, regarding to the dendrites, regarding to the axon, dendrites and cell body having a nasal granules and having a neurofibrils, but axon having a neurofibrils, there is no nasal granules or indicates the nasal bodies, keep in mind. And then the group of cell bodies, in central nervous system, is called nucleus. The group of cell bodies in peripheral nervous system is known as a ganglia. Ganglia. See here, the central nervous system can be classified into two types. One is the central nervous system, another one is the peripheral nervous system. I already said the central nervous system having a brain and a spinal cord. This peripheral nervous system can be classified into somatic nervous system and autonomical nervous system. What is use of somatic nervous system? This somatic nervous system can send the signals to the skeletal muscles. That's why can I say the skeletal muscles is controlled by somatic nervous system. That's why here very important, peripheral nervous system can be classified into two types. One is the somatic, another one is the autonomic. Somatic nervous system can send the signals to the skeletal muscles through central nervous system. అంటే మెసేజ్ ఇక్కడి నుంచి ఇక్కడికి దేని ద్వారా వస్తుంది? సోమాటిక్ నర్వస్ సిస్టమ్ ద్వారా వస్తుంది. And then what is use of the autonomic nervous system? It can send the signals to the involuntary organs. What are the involuntary organs? The organs is not under our control. That type of organs is called as a involuntary organ. Suppose the cardiac muscle fibers under the controls by the autonomic nervous system. That's why keep in mind the skeletal muscles is under the control of the somatic nervous system through central nervous system, and the involuntary organs is controlled by the autonomic nervous system. That's why the group of cell bodies in the central nervous system is called as a nucleus, and the group of cell bodies in the peripheral nervous system that is called as a ganglia. At the same time, the group of axons in central nervous system is known as a tract. And the group of axons in peripheral nervous system is called as a nerve. Nerve. Now here they having so many supporting cells is there. What is said as squamous cells and the oligodendrocytes. I already said the oligodendrocytes, they can form a myelinated sheath in central nervous system. When the myelinated sheath, that is called as a myelinated neuron, and if not there, that is called as a non-myelinated neuron. If they can ask where more speed impulse formation takes place in myelinated neurons, the conduction of impulse is very fast compared to the non-myelinated neuron. Now here, this is one neuron, this one is the one neuron. The junction between two neurons is called as a synapse. Synapse. I already said, suppose this is the axon terminals, this is the synaptic nerves, a bulb-like structure, that is the synaptic nerves. They are having a chemical storage one, that is called as synaptical vesicles. Here the chemical storage one, the chemicals is called as a neurotransmitter. Here, what is use of the neurotransmitter? If you get the impulse, either యాక్టివేషన్ ఆర్ ఇన్హిబిషన్, మీరు యాక్టివేట్ చేయాలన్నా మీరు ఇన్హిబిట్ చేయాలన్నా మీరు యాక్టివ్గా ఉండాలి ఇన్యాక్టివ్గా ఉండాలి, దేని మీద డిపెండ్ అవుతుందంటే ఇక్కడ రిలీజ్ అయ్యే న్యూరో ట్రాన్స్మిటర్ మీద మీ యొక్క బాడీ కోఆర్డినేషన్ అనేది డిపెండ్ అవుద్ది. ఎలా అంటే మన సెకండ్ ఇయర్ క్లాస్లో ఇవన్నీ మనం చెప్పుకోవచ్చు. అండ్ దెన్ సేమ్ ఐ సెడ్ రికార్డింగ్ టు ద మజిల్ ఫైబర్ I can name it as a endomysium, fascicle, perimysium, epimysium. You remember this one regarding to the muscle fiber, the same thing. They having a nerve fiber that is covered by a connective sheath that is called as endoneurium. Instead of myo, if you go for the neuro, a group of bundle of nerve fibers is called as a fascicle. Very good. That fascicle is covered by a connective tissue sheath that is called a perineurium. Here the perimysium. The total all the fascicles that is covered by a connective sheath that is called as epimysium, that is the epineurium. Instead of the mysium, you can keep a neurium. That is only the differentiation. And then see, now we can go for the supporting cells. Supporting cells. That is the neuroglial cells. These are the supporting cells. We can give suitable environmental to the nervous tissue. That is the supporting cells. Here, one is oligodendrocytes. I already said the use of oligodendrocytes. Another one is the astrocytes. Star-shaped cells is the astrocytes. It is a blood-brain barrier. Blood-brain barrier. It means this cell is connected with the brain with the blood capillaries. Brain with the blood capillaries, that is the astrocytes. And then ependymal cells. Ependymal cells. What are ependymal cells means? In brain and the spinal cord. Now in brain they having a fluid filled cavities that is called as a ventricles. It means in these cavities they having a cerebrospinal fluid. CSF, cerebrospinal fluid. What is the use of the cerebrospinal fluid means? This cerebrospinal fluid, it can protect the brain from mechanical shocks. Now this cerebrospinal fluid move from the one ventricles to the another ventricles. We need a ciliated means moving cells. That ciliated cells is called as a ependymal cells. And then also they having a microglial cells. Here, what is the use of the microglial cells? Microglial cells are the phagocytic nature. Any foreign particles is enter into the brain in the neuron. These microglial cells can attack that foreign particles. That is the main use of the supporting cells.